Apparently, I am recording now. Okay. So we will, we'll go back. So how to become 1% better every day. The overall topic is habit stacking. You already saw my next slide. So before we talk about habit stacking, I posted this in a couple different places. I put it in the group chat. I put it in the Facebook group. In case you didn't see it, here's what this is if you are a client, because you are watching this, so you are, this is an overview of my Black Friday deals and then them written out because I'm a visual person. I like to see them. If you didn't see the whole webinar from last week, it was long. It was an hour and 20 minutes. I put it on YouTube so you could watch it at 2x speed to listen to things quicker. But that's this link. And then lastly, the slides from the advanced lab testing and biohacking. And the reason you might want the slides is if you are interested in any of these links, you're like, oh, I want to learn more about whatever. I put the links for everything in there. And so that's what the slides are helpful. So you can actually click each thing and find out more about it. Personally, I am looking for this. So I'm not trying to sell you on all this stuff, but if you're looking for it anyway and you wanted my recommendation on brands, that's all it is. These are the brands that I personally would be using. And so I'm happy to talk about different ones. You're like, hey, what do you think about this? Happy to share my insight, but I don't know every single brand out there. So I picked the brands that I know and would trust. And so that is simply all that the biohacking is, but I thought that might be helpful. And then lastly, I didn't actually know that they were going to run this, but this is, it came out to me today. I got it in an email for like the ambassadors because I'm a provider in their lab portal and they're offering 30% labs. And I was like, wow, this is awesome because 30% is quite substantial. So if you're interested and you're like, I have no idea where to start, I can help point you in that direction. This particular test was part of like one of my Black Friday specials, like passing on basically a free test. This one's typically $199. And what they're doing is they're like, hey, if you've never had a test before, you can get it for free. Just pay shipping to and from. And the shipping's like, it's not cheap because they're overnighting it. So they're covering their shipping costs, but instead of paying $199, you're paying $18. So that's a good deal. And I would do that one first before you buy anything else because it's like the most toward free that you can possibly do. But if you were interested in other labs, I can point you in that direction. None of this hopefully is coming across as salesy. That is my goal. I don't want to be that salesperson is like only talking about money, but I want to make sure you guys know about these awesome deals because this is the time to take advantage of things if you're going to do them anyway. So simply sharing all of that information with you. But we'll go ahead and get started. This is what I'm hearing from basically everyone, mostly in my messages because people are a little nervous about sharing these things, in a group. Like you don't want to be judged. You don't want people to think less of you. But I'm hearing from a lot of people that they are overwhelmed and there's a lot going on right now. And there's a lot of I would say like family issues going on is what I'm hearing. I've had, and this was someone personal to me, like a young person in the early 20s commit suicide a couple weeks ago. Someone else just shared that with me that that was something they had happen in their family, or a family friend or something. And just people are passing away and there's so much big stuff going on right now. And on top of that, it's also the busy season, right? Because for me, my kids are all doing like some sort of sport, but school is like really getting underway. So we have, things to do for school. So I would say the kid aspect is very big in my life right now. And then the holidays, like we're already talking Thanksgiving's like, isn't that next week? Thanksgiving's next week. So we're prepping for Thanksgiving. We have so many things coming up. And then, of course, you're hearing all these Black Friday deals. Hopefully that doesn't add to the overwhelm. Hopefully that's the fun part is like shopping. But between finding gifts and organizing all the family chaos, maybe your family is stressful. Like there are so many things going on. I don't know if you feel like sharing. I'm happy to, of course, like have that conversation here, but I know there's a lot going on. So if you want to join me in my messages and at least have someone to hear you and support you, I can help with that. You don't have to call yourself out publicly for sure. But I just know that this is the sense like I have a lot going on and like everyone I'm talking to, they're like, this is really busy right now. So you are not alone. Everything is right. This is normal. And at the same time, you're still here showing up because you want to be healthier and you want to be that better version of yourself. And so before I paint this picture of like we do have all this going on, I'm coming at this with you are never going to be this perfect version of yourself. I'll give you a little story. My son, actually, speaking of kids and things going on, this is American Education Week. So I went and visited his classroom today, and I'm visiting my daughter's tomorrow. And he was drawing a red barn, which is like they're working on 2D shapes, right? So it's like a square with a triangle and he made it like a circle instead of a square. And he sat there and cried. And I was like, buddy, like, what's wrong? He's like, like he couldn't even put words together because he was so mad he didn't make this red barn perfectly. And I can see this, but in the moment, he's feeling like, oh my gosh, I didn't do it right. Everything's terrible. This is feeling overwhelming. And at 5 years old, we just cry. But as an adult, we hold that in and we're like, I'm not doing life perfectly. In his case, what he did is he gave up and just sat there. And that's what we kind of do when we have this all or nothing mindset. We kind of get paralyzed and we just sit there because we don't know what else to do and we get stuck, right? And we give up and we go eat that pint of ice cream to make ourselves feel better, or you go out to eat and have a couple drinks and you're like kind of putting that band-aid on and not actually getting to, well, what's going on? Because in his case, who cares? We put a square around it. We drew a square around it and we just colored it in and you couldn't even see the circle underneath. And obviously that's a very simplified example. It's so simple because he's 5. But in our life, if we took that step back and took the emotion out of it for a moment and took a deep breath and came back and thought about it, chances are there's probably something simple we can do or take a different approach or just do something differently instead of having to deal with that overwhelm and just giving up. So coming in this with that context of like, it doesn't have to be so overwhelming that we stop. Instead, we could just work on smaller progress, smaller steps, but still continuing to move forward. So that's that frame of mind that I want you to have today. Okay, so here's probably why you were feeling overwhelmed. And if you're here live, I know I have a handful of you here today. So if you want to just say like me in the chat, just so I know that I'm speaking to the right thing, that is helpful. You can say, yeah, it's this. You can call it out specifically, but I'm curious if any of this is something you're dealing with, just overwhelm. Holiday expectations is a big one. There's often work deadlines at the end of the year to accomplish things before the end of the 2025 year. There's a lot of family things going on and kids events, all the gifts, all the travel, Thanksgiving, all the meals, and so on. And you're trying so hard to stay healthy, but you have a lot going on, right? Everything feels kind of chaotic. And then add in constant behind. I should show you my house right now. I'm gonna do it because I'll probably be embarrassed, but like I have stacks of stuff. Ah, as my video goes out. It's like, no, you will not. I have like a maybe I won't. I'll send you a video later. I have like a webcam on because my computer's so old that it's just like really blurry. So I added a webcam. Anyway, so if I jostle my computer, it doesn't like that. But I have like I think there's 8 Amazon boxes over there. There's a stack of papers to go through. There's an entire pile of coins on the floor because my son wants to know the year from every coin. So like there's an entire pile. It's like this big around of just coins and towels. Like there's stuff everywhere, right? All the things. I had 6 baskets of laundry to fold on Saturday night. There's always something going on between just regular house stuff and add in workouts to that, add in holidays to that. There's just a lot. And so what happens is we slip into this all or nothing mindset again, because I know that's where a lot of us are trying to break through. And you're like, I'm barely keeping up. How can I add one more thing on? Okay. And I know that feels really, really hard. I was trying to make you feel better with like my house is not perfect either. But Yes, it's okay, cool. I'm seeing the chat. Everyone's like, yes, yes, it's overwhelming right now. So I'm glad you're hearing this because maybe just bringing you back to that perspective. Okay, so the simplest way to stay consistent, especially in a busy season, is using something called habit stacking. I actually sent out a message about this in the group chat on Sunday. Maybe you saw it. It's adding this tiny, tiny habit to something you're already doing, and then it becomes much easier to continue doing it. This works because our brain likes routines. We like the feeling of familiar. We don't like when we are becoming that new version of ourselves, that next best 2.0 version of ourselves, because it feels unfamiliar. And our brain says everything unfamiliar is bad and it's going to make us die, right? Like it's like the tiger that we're always running away from. We want the familiar, we want the boring, we want to do those routines every day. But doing what you did in the past is not going to help you do what you need to do to become the next best version of yourself. So we do need to shift, but we can do this in small chunks instead of a full overhaul. Okay. So when you find yourself, oh, shoot, I didn't eat enough veggies today. Megan's going to say something. Oh, I didn't get that workout in. Oh, I'm so tired. Like, know that I am coming in from a place of non-judgment. Of course, I'm going to say, hey, why'd you only get one workout in this week? Like, what's going on? And I am going to hold you accountable, but it's never from like a pointing fingers of like, you're such a bad person. It's just that like noticing, right? But you might feel guilty. You might feel overwhelmed by it. So know that the fact that you still show up and you still keep moving forward, I give you so much credit for that because you have no idea how many of my clients either fall off and then come back a couple weeks later, or just like sometimes they completely ghost me and they're gone forever. I'm like, but you gave up, right? Don't give up. Never give up. 1% better every day. Second bullet is you don't need more time. So everyone has the same 24 hours in our life, right? It's really easy to get on your phone and 45 minutes later come up for air and be like, oh, right, I was supposed to be doing this. We can find the time. Sometimes it means auditing our habits, and sometimes our habits can be shifted to have that time allocated, whether it's TV or scrolling or whatever, like, I don't know, whatever it is. There is always time for the things that you need to prioritize. So let's focus on the thing that takes like 1 minute. 10 minutes. Like, what can we prioritize to just have a small action to keep us moving forward? Okay. I'm going to do 4 examples. They're going to be broken down to nutrition and movement and mindset and sleep. So we'll go in that order. And so I want you, if it's helpful, I have my post-it notes. They're like over on the side here. Write a post-it note, write in your planner. These are all things that probably take 1 minute or less than 10 for the most part. So what can you commit to? Or if it sparks an idea, write that idea down. My goal by the end is you have one thing, one thing to do 1% better this week. Okay. So option A is nutrition. Um, for example, you're drinking your coffee, you drink 8 ounces of water. Now, I would love you to drink 30 ounces of water in the morning, but maybe you're not drinking any. 8 ounces is better than zero. Something is better than nothing. So now that I've been doing this for years, while my coffee is brewing, I actually, and I'm pointing because I'm looking in my kitchen, I actually fill up my big water. And this is 32 ounces. So I fill up my big water cup. I try to chug it, and I can now because I've been doing it for long, but that might be hard for you in the beginning. But I do chug my 32 ounces of water. I make my smoothie with more water, and then I drink my coffee, right? Like that's the goal. But maybe you're not doing that right now. Maybe you're living on caffeine in the morning. Hopefully not, because that's part of the thing I try to shift first. But maybe just start by drinking 8 ounces in the beginning. Okay, you're packing your kids' lunch. Next example. I make sure like I have like an assembly line because I have two lunches to pack. And guess what? Mine is the third. I put like, and I put it back in the fridge. I work from home, but I put it in the fridge so it's allocated, but I've already packed my lunch for the day, right? So when I'm doing something for someone else, I'm going to take care of myself too. Option B is anything to do with movement. Can you add something more in? So 2 weeks ago, I added in, I wanted to walk a mile every day, like at a time, not steps throughout the day. So I wanted to sit there and walk a mile every day because I had been doing too much like stagnant computer work. So I added in, I want to walk a mile. And week 2, I want to do 50 push-ups every day. 50 push-ups might be hard for you. By the way, that is not all off my knees. I start and just do as many as I can and then finish on my knees, but I'm still doing 50. It's taken me 3 years to get up to 50 push-ups, right? Like, I'm not expecting that. Can you do 10? Can you do one, right? Can you start with 1 or 2 push-ups? Work up to 10, work up to 5, like make it small in addition to a workout, right? So where can you fit this in? So if you're brushing your teeth at night, that if I haven't done my 50 push-ups, I'm in there doing my 50 push-ups while I'm brushing my teeth, like right there on the bathroom rug. So that is something you could do. Doesn't have to be 50, it could be 5, could be 10, right? Take a small number that feels doable, but feels like you've accomplished something because the consistency of showing up is way more important than the number itself for right now. Okay. I'm actually doing laundry right now. So like when I switch loads or I'm in the laundry room, I'm gonna sit in there and jog in place for 30 seconds. None of this takes time, right? This could be less than a couple minutes, and yet it adds up. Option C, and this might be the best one to start with because there's so much going on right now. So option C, after you get in the car, you buckle your seatbelt, you're getting ready to drive, actually just take 3 deep breaths. Sit there and just breathe in and breathe out and breathe in and breathe out and breathe in and breathe out. And then go about your time, right? Like that took less than 30 seconds, less than a minute for sure. And yet your mindset just shifted and you can go about your day feeling more grounded. Or at the end of the day, whether you're like sitting down to watch TV or you're sitting down to relax, you've just gotten done dinner, whatever. Maybe you journal a win. If you're trying to get more gratitude into your life, if more journaling, that's when you could do it. So next to your couch, put your journal, or next to your nightstand, put your journal. If that's something you want to do, put it where you would need to do it when you are ready and in that correct mindset. Okay. That's option C. And personally, like the deep breaths, that's so easy and something you could very easily implement. Last one, sleep and recovery, right? Kind of going from all angles here, nutrition all the way to sleep. So after you plug in your phone at night to charge, you set it on do not disturb and at least on silent, right? Face down so you can't see it and leave it alone. Or you're like, I need to go to bed earlier. So instead of 11 p.m., I'm going to go to bed at 10:40 tonight. And I'm going to try that all week. Okay. Doesn't mean, oh, I need to go from 11 p.m. to 8:30. That's going to feel really hard. And honestly, your body's going to not fall asleep. But can you go to bed 20 minutes earlier, right? And stick to that for a week. So one small shift, stick to it. So mini workshop, and I'm actually going to pause just for 1 minute because that's all it should take for you. But think of like 3 moments in your day, even 1 moment in your day. You always hopefully brush your teeth. You probably go to the bathroom in the morning. Hopefully you're drinking water in the morning. You might go pick up your kids from school every day. You might make a smoothie every day. Like, what are you doing already in your day that is already there? And one thing you could add to each. So if you want to have better nutrition, where does that come in? If you want to have more movement, where does that come in? If you want to have less overwhelm, less stress, where does that come in? If you want to get better sleep and better rest, more boundaries, where does that come in? Okay. So pick one of those topics, not everything. What's something you're doing already? And what's one small 1% habit that you can do to add to it? I'm going to mute, I'm going to time it, and I'll come back in just 1 minute. Whoops, muted. All right, it's been 1 minute. I don't want to waste your time, and I want to wrap this up so you can kind of move on with your day, but have some really solid thoughts. If you're still working on this, I'll send the slides out shortly, like in a few minutes right after we finish. And of course, go back through them. You can rewind, re-listen, whatever you want. So this sinks in, but we'll move on. So as you are thinking through the rest of your week, you might want to add on additional habits. I never want you to get, you don't want to add five things at once to what you're already doing because you already have a protocol. You already have a lot of things that are going well. So it's more like I noticed this could improve and here's how I want to do it better. But just keep an eye on these things and they might trigger this idea of, oh, I could also work on this later down the road. Doesn't have to be right now. So think about where do you consistently get stuck? And for me, I know it's like I take too much on. I don't look at my planner and I just agree. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to do that too. So I need to leave my planner open so I don't consistently add to it because I need to block out time very intentionally. Okay. Where do you feel the most resistance daily? Is it getting the right nutrition? Is it like just vegetables, for example? Right? Vegetables are really hard. I can't eat enough. That's what I want you to focus on. Is it getting the workouts in because you just don't want to work out? You're like, I have no energy and I don't enjoy this. Okay, how can we change that? Okay. What's the smallest version of this habit that you can commit to? So taking that thing that is really hard, you're getting stuck, how can you make it into a tiny, tiny chunk so you can work on improving it? Because we want to remove the all or nothing, right? We just want to just plug away at it a little bit at a time. And then sometimes, and I ask my kids this, like, well, what can we do to make this fun? Oh, I don't want to brush my teeth. I don't want to, like, my kids are younger, right? Your kids might not be saying this, but like they drag their feet and it takes them 45 minutes to get ready in the morning. And I'm like, but guys, it could take you 5 minutes. It's so easy. What can make this fun? And so we race up the steps, right? And so for a kid, that feels really fun and exciting. But for an adult, maybe you're not doing that. So for me, what feels really fun and exciting is when I have a new pair of shoes to go work out in, or like if I'm doing Pilates, like a new pair of socks, because I feel good about it, right? Like that feels fun. Different, I guess, goals as an adult. My kids hate socks. So, life shifts. But sometimes making it fun or making things easier for you is going to help you out. Okay, so keep an eye on that this week. Consider it as you are doing this new thing. And last thought I'm going to leave you with is that small habits compound over time. The guy that coined this idea of habit stacking, and his name is escaping me. I'll put it in the group chat when I send the replay because I'll remember it in like 2 minutes. If you were to be 1% better every day and 1% compounds on top of the previous 1% every other day, you end up being 30 times better in a year. So 3,700% better, right? So if you put that into money, because I think that's easier to think about, if you invested $1 daily and it had a 1% daily compound interest rate, it's kind of like a credit card, right? Because they get you with like those huge interest rates. It's actually way higher than that, but kind of unrealistic. But for the sake of doing it, the total amount after 1 year, you'd have $1,348 compared to 365 because it compounds. So, for example, say weight loss is your goal. You want to lose 10 pounds, right? For an easy number. That's not just basically 1 pound per month. It's you also need to adjust the muscles because your muscles are going to burn more efficiently while you sleep. You're also going to need to drink water, right? Like those are the little habits that lead up to that final result of 10 pounds or $1,348, whatever it is. So the small habits that you compound and add in are what you are going to get out. Okay. So I know this is feels unrealistic if we think about it in money, but when we look about it, a year, you can do so much change. In 4 months, we know you can do so much change. So one small habit in addition to what you're doing is the goal. How can we be 1% better every day? So action task, obviously, I always leave you with that action item. What one thing can you add into your routine this week? What will it be? So I will leave you with that. I will let's see if I can stop this recording. Maybe, maybe not. Cool, I can. All right, I'll leave you with this and then I'll stay on. If you have questions, please ask. If you have questions in the replay, send me a message and we will chat soon.